Yo, 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 welcome back guys to a brand new video of my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode here today guys, and we are here for yet another race in the series. If you guys missed the last episode, then check it out. I'll leave a link guys up in the top right hand corner of the screen, so go see the last episode. Today we are here for the Belgian Grand Prix, and we've only got this race and one more, the Italian Grand Prix, in the next episode, and that's going to be it for the European part of the calendar. So we're getting there now. We're well into the second part of the season, and I'm looking forward to it guys. We've got some upgrades this weekend, and we've got some more hopefully to arrive soon, and the car is really improving, and I can't wait to see what happens in the near future. But guys, just real quick, I want to get the plug out of the way. We're getting close to 50k subs, so if you guys want to help me out, if you're new to the channel, over 50% of you that are not subscribed watch my videos. So if you want to change that and help improve that, then hit the red subscribe button guys and help me out, because again, I'm trying to chase after 50k subs, and it would massively help me out if you guys could help me get there. But without further ado, let's get this episode underway. So here we are then once again on the laptop. This weekend we have rain expected in qualifying, which is going to be really interesting. In terms of R&D, we've brought some upgrades this weekend, and we are very close to Ferrari, Red Bull, Racing Point and Renault. So things in the midfield are extremely congested. Mercedes have a pretty healthy advantage out front, but hopefully we can try and close that gap even more after this weekend, because we do have another upgrade in the works for the aerodynamics. It's actually a major one for the rear end of the car, and if this upgrade arrives, we should in theory become the 4th quickest team. So we'll see how that goes in terms of other teams and what upgrades they bring over time. You can see for this weekend we are going to move to the pavilion number 2 now, and we're going to try and stick with this for the foreseeable future, and at some point we'll have to move into pavilion number 3 on certain components. With that said, we now move into practice here this weekend at the Circuit Spa-Francorchamps, and again, this track, just like Japan, it's in my top 2, my joint favourite tracks on the calendar. I think I just prefer Japan because it's a bit more realistic in terms of the track layout, but Spa isn't great. But having said that, the pace was looking not particularly encouraging, I've got to say. The car felt absolutely awesome. We went quickest in practice, but the pace wasn't quite there on the mediums and the hard tyres. We was really off the pace. If we look after practice, we've now got over 1,000 R&D points, and we gain a very small amount of a team acclaim. But that aside, we move into qualifying, and I've got a few concerns about the pace. Luckily, the rain could be a key factor here in maybe helping us out and improving our pace overall. But it does seem like the AI are really strong, especially in the second sector. It seems like we're losing 1 to 1.5 seconds through there alone, and I'm lucky enough to make up some of that time in sectors 1 and 3. It seems like we've got quite a low drag package compared to everybody else because we're really quick on the straights. So here we go then, jumping into Q1, and you can see on screen this is the outlap, and it's already raining. So I managed to get out there quite early. I think I was the first 6 or 7 cars to get out there, and this was on my lap. Now you can see we got a little bit loose through Eau Rouge and Raidillon, and there was another moment here. Now going through turn 9, you'll see I get on the gas, we lose the back end, we just hold on to it, we almost dip a wheel into the grass, we just avoid that though. But the lap is very much off to a scary start, and I believe I'm one of the last cars across the line in these conditions. Most of the cars are ahead of me. Again, another moment there through Stavlo, and just trying to make sure I can get the car to the line in these conditions really. I think we've got Lando Norris behind us. He's the only other car on the soft compound tyres, so I think there's about 6 or 7 cars ahead of us, so we should be okay. It's just a question of, have we lost too much time with those mistakes, and could you be quicker on an intermediate tyre? We're now going to the bus stop. There's very little grip now. You can see the car has no turn in. DRS is now disabled, and I think we've just about survived here as we run up to the line. We go P6 and slowest of all so far, but we were one of the few cars to get a lap in on the dry tyres, and luckily for us, you can see we went through. Even though Lance Stroll, for example, he was only half a second behind us on the intermediates, we had just enough pace in the first 2 sectors to hold on to the lap and go into Q2. And speaking of which, in Q2, now intermediate conditions, yet again through Eau Rouge, having a huge moment here, having to catch the car over the top at Raidillon, and that's going to cost us quite a bit of time. And to be fair, if we look at the lap as a whole, you'll see now arriving at the bus stop chicane, Mick Schumacher with a 1 minute 50.1, and we're now making our way through here, and you can see we're really off the pace. We're going to cross the line and set a 1 minute 51.2, so we are 1.1 seconds slower than our very own teammate, which is really concerning, and we seem to just not have the pace around here. But at the end of the session, everybody went out for one more run on the inters. I left it until the very last minute and I'm going to try it on the dry tyres. There was not a lot of grip at first. The car was struggling. You can see the track's like shiny, but then you can see DRS got enabled, and at this point it's when the grip started to go my way a little bit, and you can see now at the first sector we're only 3/10 up. It wasn't much. The track was still very greasy and very slippy, and we're not actually faster than Perez as it stands, so we are currently not fast enough, but we have to improve. Luckily for us, the track progression was there, and the track was improving really, really quickly. You can see now through sector 2 we're now 3.3 up and setting a purple sector, and at this point I knew I was through into Q3, so I wasn't using max engine mode. I wasn't using hot lap all the time. I was using a bit of standard mode as well, because there was no point in wasting the engine when I knew I was going to get through quite comfortably. So I actually ended up finishing the lap with lean mix and none on the ERS, just to make sure, again, we try and save the engine as much as possible, also save the tyres, because we are going to have to start the race on these. And I made sure the lap was quite slow, quite safe to not take too much out of the tyres. We do finish Q2 in P1, so we go through into Q3, and the gamble on soft tyres paid off quite comfortably, and we were 1.8 seconds quicker than Lewis Hamilton. Unfortunately, Mick Schumacher out in 14th place in the second car, but generally speaking, a good qualifying. But we are going to be at a disadvantage because we're the only car to have done a lap on used softs, and we're going to have to start those tyres in the race tomorrow. At the end of Q3, though, you can see here, this was the end of my first time lap, getting very loose and out of shape into the bus stop chicane. Across the line we go, and we are 7/10 off Lance Stroll, and we go last in 8th place for now, and quite a way off the pace. But this was my best lap in the session. Can we improve? We're currently P10. Let's go for a full lap of the Circuit Spa-Francorchamps, and let's see how the lap goes. And here we go out the final corner, opening DRS, running up to the line, and we improved by only 1/10 of a second. But to be honest, there wasn't much more pace in the car, and we finished in 10th place, which is really disappointing. So unfortunately, it is what it is. Sebastian Vettel, very surprising, down in P9. But looking at the gaps, look at it. I mean, we were so far off the pace. You know, we was 4 to 5 tenths off Lando Norris's time. Even ahead of that, I mean, Lance Stroll as well was a long way ahead of us, 7/10 of a second, and just generally we weren't quick. The big surprise though were the Renaults. They were extremely competitive in qualifying, and both cars in the top 5 and out qualifying Alex Albon and Sebastian Vettel, and only a few tenths off Leclerc and Bottas. So the Renault's looking like a dark horse this weekend, and looks like they could potentially do something in this race. Either way, P10 for us. And again, remember, we've got that big disadvantage on tyres because we did a lap in Q2 on used softs. So unfortunately, we are going to be starting the race not just restricted to the soft tyre, whereas everyone in front has got the free tyre choice, but our soft tyres aren't even fresh. So we're at a big disadvantage for the start of the race. But either way, guys, that's it for qualifying. We're now going to move into an interview.
The weather hasn't been ideal in qualifying. What's your take on it?
It's the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes it works for you, sometimes it doesn't, but we called it pretty good, to be honest.
It's got to be a relief to qualify that far up the grid.
Yeah, for sure. I would have liked to have been higher, but we didn't quite have the pace. But you just got to try and, you know, push yourself as much as you can, really.
Do you have any comments about this team?
Not really, to be honest. We're not really looking at them at the moment, to be honest.
Appreciate your time.
And well, there we go then. Qualifying is done. We did lose a couple of points in the rivalry to Charles Leclerc, and the gap is now 7-4 heading into the race. And real quick, we're going to run over the team acclaim after qualifying as we got that P10. And again, just a very small improvement on all fronts, both drivers and as a team as well. But generally speaking, that is it for qualifying, guys. It wasn't the best session. It does seem like we just don't have the pace around here. The car feels great, but it doesn't seem to reflect in the lap time. Hopefully Mick Schumacher can do a better job. Either way, that's it for qualifying. We're now going to move into the race.
We're in Belgium once again for today's round of the Formula One World Championship. It's a race the great Ayrton Senna won 6 times, and in 2019, Charles Leclerc became the first driver to take their maiden win here since Michael Schumacher in 1992. So here we are once again, ready to go racing through the Ardennes forest. 4.35 miles of long straights, fast corners and massive elevation changes. It makes this not only one of the most exciting circuits on the calendar, but one that makes for some consistently high quality racing as well. Simply put it, there really is no place quite like Spa. Alongside me to discuss all the action today is Anthony Davidson. Thanks for joining us, Ant, and tell me, you were down in the pit lane earlier. How do you think the track conditions are today?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Ocon, Daniel Ricciardo, and Albon, Stroll, Norris, Vettel, and Martinez, Sainz, Verstappen, Sergio Perez, and Schumacher, Grosjean, Russell, Daniel Kvyat, and Pierre Gasly, Giovinazzi, Raikkonen, Magnussen, and Nicholas Latifi. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
It's time for the Belgian Grand Prix, and I can't lie, guys, I'm not feeling super confident. I feel like we might be a little bit down on pace. I may have outperformed the car. I think we should have got knocked out in Q2, because in Q3 you guys saw the gaps. You know, we was a long way away from the pace, and it was very surprising actually how far away we were. It seems like Sector 2 for the AI around here is absolutely insane, and I think we've got our work cut out to even stay in the points this race. Usually we try to go forward, but in this race we're going to have to probably try and stay ahead and not go backwards. And strategy wise, we're going to be starting on the soft tyres again. We don't have that benefit. We're the only car to not have the free choice of tyre, which is a big downside, and then we're going to one stop it onto the medium. So we should be able to still stick to the original strategy, but we might suffer on the first stint with some extra tyre wear and tyre overheating. In terms of fuel, we're going to go exactly 22 laps, but slightly on the lower side of 22 laps. So yeah, a little bit larger than usual to kind of compensate for the tyre wear, but fuel use is quite high around here, so it's kind of hard to go any lower than that. Either way, it's going to be interesting, and hopefully we can try and make it a good one. No rain expected, so it should be a very straightforward race. But without further ado, let's get into the race here for the Belgian Grand Prix. Right, here we go then. Let's build up the revs and see what kind of start we get as the lights come on here at Belgium. Lights out and away we go. Ooh, that's a good start from us. Looks like Norris struggled. Sainz gets off to a flyer in the other McLaren. We're going to go around the outside of turn 1 of La Sauls. 3 wide with, I think, Stroll and Perez. Looks like Stroll coming back through there. We're going to have to let him go. Here comes Sainz as well. He's trying to go on the inside of a Rouge. That's going to be so risky. We have to leave some space, but surely not. And we just about hang on to P9, but that was very, very scary there. But P9 for us, we gained 1 place. Norris having the worst start out of everybody here. Looks like we've got a bit of sideways action. I think Sebastian Vettel and Alexander Albon side by side through Malmedy. Let's see if we can close up a little bit. This is where the AI are pretty quick. So Sector 2, we're going to see how that shakes out in the race, and we're going to see how they perform. I can't lie, I've got low expectations to no expectations for this one. I just don't know where the pace really is. Qualifying really threw me off, so it's hard to predict really, but let's see if we can just try and hang with these guys for now and go on a lap by lap basis. But so far so good. 1 place gained on lap 1 of the race so far. Getting pretty close to Stroll here on the exit of turn 1. Sainz and Perez are battling behind us, so we're already getting a bit of clearance to those guys. I'm going to keep the ERS mode activated up through Eau Rouge. Can we try and get past Lance Stroll here? I'm using a lot of energy to try and get this move done, so we better try and make it count. Here we go, down to 60% battery. Can we go for it? Yes, we do. On the brakes, down the inside of Lance Stroll. Late dive, but we make it stick. Albon and Sebastian Vettel still battling in front of us here as we move up into 8th place. Early signs seem okay. We seem to have some decent pace. Both Renaults running 3 and 4 in this race. They've had a fantastic Saturday qualifying. Let's see how this race shakes out. Vettel and Albon side by side, still going at it here. A bunch of fastest laps being put in as DRS will now be enabled on this lap.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
I think the Renaults are going to give us an opportunity this race to have a good race. I didn't realise there was 2 Renaults up in 3rd and 4th place, so that's going to really open the race up. Looks like Stroll can't quite keep up with us. Also, Perez as well is out of his teammates' DRS range. So at the moment, I'm actually quite surprised. The pace seems very strong. Here goes Sebastian Vettel and Alex Albon. Can we try and get in on that action? Using a bit of overtake here. Not quite close enough, unfortunately, but let's just see if we can try and stick with these two. Hopefully they'll drag us along. Just trying to hang on to Albon's DRS here. 1.1 is the gap, but we seem to be pretty good on the straights. And ERS is very, very efficient with this Mercedes engine, so we're able to save and charge up the battery and use it when we need to. You can see we're now down to 7/10. We're just constantly gaining. Meanwhile, Sebastian Vettel in front is now pulling away, so Albon will no longer have DRS on the car in front, which is going to help us out keep up a little bit easier as well. Stroll still following me, of course, in that racing point, and the Renault's just up the road as we set a new personal best. So far, again, things are going very well so far, and probably better than I expected. I might be able to challenge Alex Albon here. We've got a lot of straight line speed. Look at the speed difference. We're absolutely flying up to the back of him. Not quite aggressive enough on the brakes. Alex does run it in a bit deep, but we've got so much top end speed. It's unbelievable. The setup is really working well, and it's making me quite competitive in the race. Looks like the Ferraris are struggling to dispatch the Renaults here, and that battle for 3rd place is still well and truly on. This pit stop could be key in terms of maybe if we go a lap earlier, maybe undercut, try and get a bit closer. Seb hasn't completely run away with it in front either, so this is very open. This is, I think if we can bunch up from 3rd place up to us, things could get very spicy. This is the lap. We're going to pass Albon here, I think. We're a lot closer than we have been. We're going to use a bit of overtake. We're going to then wait a minute, then we're going to use it again up through Eau Rouge and Radion. Rear tyres just starting to go now. Car getting a bit loose, but here we go. Look at the speed difference we've got on Alex Albon here in the Red Bull. We're going to breeze past. It's not even going to be a challenge, and we're through up into P7. Let's see if we can run at a decent pace here and try and pull away a little bit. Looks like Albon's got Stroll battling with him, so that's going to give us a chance to open up a gap early on. There we go, Stroll and Albon battling.
We're going to box this lap, push hard on the in-lap.
Personal best. The timing on that overtake on Albon was really, really good. We've now got P7 in this race all by ourselves. Got to say, the car feels great. It's really surprised me. We are lacking a bit in the corners. Sector 2, I can really notice it. But we're so powerful on the straights with this setup. It's making me really competitive. Right, we're going to box this lap for the medium tyres and commit to the one-stop strategy. We was able to hold on to these, even with the extra tyre wear compared to everybody else. We're now going to box. Let's see if we can have a good pit entry. Try and be aggressive with it. Looks like the Renaults are going to pit. Of course, they traditionally can't make their tyres last. Get it slowed down. Perfect entry. Okay, let's go for a quick switch over. On to mediums. Looks like Hamilton's in there as well. Can we hold Ocon here? Maybe. Yes, we do. We hold him up a little bit, which is great news for us in the long run. Maybe we can catch him at the end of the race. Right, we need mediums and clean air. That's what we need right now.
Release, release.
2.2. Great stop. Verstappen in as well.
Last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
Actually clipped the inside wall there by accident, but away we go. Ocon's the next car ahead. Clean air. 3 seconds to the Renault driver. That's worked out okay for us, costing him a little bit of time. We need a strong outlap here. Schumacher in the pits now. In the other car. Let's see where everyone else is.
Mick is in the pits. Mick in the pits.
Okay, a bunch of cars leaving the pit exit. Looks like the racing points. There's one of them in there, Perez. Also Albon as well. They've lost a lot of time though. You can see how far behind they are. They must have got held because they're a lot further back than what they were before the pit stops. We've got 5 seconds on them almost, which is incredible. So that's worked out okay. Sebastian Vettel 2.6 up the road. Suddenly now we're looking pretty good in this race. P9, we've done our stop. A few more cars yet to pit. Alright, let's keep going. Okay, we've got the remaining cars now in the pit lane, hopefully. So that means we should get our net position. Personal best. There is Stroll in the pit lane. Looks like he's actually lost quite a bit of time to us as well. These medium tyres have felt very, very good. There's a lot of grip on these. Let's see where Stroll rejoins, whether it's behind or in front of Albon. It's going to be close actually, but looks like he's just in front of Albon for now. But Alex may challenge here on this Kemmel straight. But that's worked out okay for us. Really good pit stop phase. Nice healthy gap. There's a big battle up ahead, so it's not over yet. We're still in this race. It looks like Albon's had some kind of issue. Stroll's overtaken him, and Albon 4.6 and dropping back here. So it's looking like it's going to be me versus Lance Stroll for the rest of this race. Unfortunately, we don't have the pace to catch the cars ahead. The Renaults have very strong pace and are actually competing with the Ferraris here today. So we're going to try and hold on to P7 in this race as we set a purple final sector. Ricciardo, new fastest lap in the Renault. They really are quick around here. That's some unbelievable pace from them, and they're engulfed in that third place battle. And to be fair, the Mercs aren't that far ahead of them. I don't know where this has come from the Renaults. I really don't, but it's unbelievable pace. Oh, something's happened. Is that in front or behind? It's in front.
In the next part of the track, no overtaking through the yellow flags.
Looks like one of the cars ahead are slowing down. It's Bottas out of the race for Mercedes, which means we're going to gain P6 in this race. And that Renault-Ferrari battle is now a battle for P2 here today. Wow, Bottas out. That's a surprising one. The Mercedes, of course, never often retire. Meanwhile, Stroll closing in now, gap 1.4 seconds. He's slowly getting closer. He will catch us. The question is trying to stay in front of him. The guys ahead are still setting fastest laps. They're just so quick. They're in that DRS train, 4 cars, pretty much following each other. Stroll just outside of DRS range here. We've got enough pace to keep him away for now. 6 laps to go in this race. Still a long way until the finish. Personal best, purple final sector. Trying to pretty much give it everything I've got now in terms of pace to try and keep Stroll out of the 1 second window, but it's not going to be easy. Yeah, fuel's going to be marginal. We are going to have to save a bit of that later on at some point. But for now, the pace is still looking good, so let's try and keep it consistent and keep Stroll just outside that 1 second window. Another personal best, keeping the pace up. Stroll can't get within 1 second. I'm doing just enough to keep him behind, and that's perfect for us. Okay, bad news, guys. Stroll has DRS. He was close enough in the DRS detection point, so he's now going to be looking for a move here. I think we should be fine. I'm not concerned about him overtaking me. I think we've got more than enough juice on the straights to stay in front, but he is going to get a bit closer now with DRS assistance. Okay, we're having a few issues now. I'm trying to fuel save a little bit and get back on target because I was actually using up more fuel than I would have liked. I was actually going more into the negative. So I'm trying to save, but now Stroll is behind us and I've used quite a bit of ERS as well to compensate. So things are looking a bit rough. Here comes Lance. He's looking for the move here. He's running a bit of engine mode. He's not quite close enough, but he's knocking. Now the AI as usual pick up their pace in the final couple of laps because they're coded to go for a fast lap of the race, so they always try and push. So this isn't over yet.
We've only got 2 laps of fuel left.
I'm going to try and not use rich mix on this back straight, see if we can save a bit and just dabble with some overtake to try and stay ahead of Lance if we need it. You can see he's really closing up on us now. That racing point is using full engine mode. Fastest laps being set by everybody, which again is a sign that the AI are picking up their pace. Perez now only 1.6 behind. Again, another sign that the AI are increasing their pace. But fuel is almost there. We need a bit more saving and we should be okay. Okay, so we've now got 2 racing points behind, Stroll and Perez. I'm trying to cruise here and save that fuel, like I said before. Stroll's pretty close here, going onto this last lap. He looks like he's got full engine mode deployed. We're going to take a wide line through turn 1. Oh, that's not good. Luckily though, looks like Stroll had a pretty poor exit himself. We've got enough ERS and fuel here to keep this pinned. I can keep rich mix enabled all the way down towards Les Combes. I've got very little overtake mode left now, so we're going to be in trouble here. I've got to try and use what I have. That's it, I'm out of juice. Here comes Stroll, but luckily he's not close enough, so I think we should be okay now. We survived the Kemmel straight. I don't think there'll be any more issues. I think we should be able to hang on to this. Here we go then. One last chance for the Racing Points to get a move here. Lewis Hamilton will pick up the win for the Belgian Grand Prix. It's looking like there's going to be a surprise podium as Sebastian Vettel's only P5. So one of the Renaults will get onto the podium. There's confirmation of Lewis winning the race. And we're going to hold on here for a P6, which I've got to be honest, is a massive result for us. I did not expect this one bit. Through the bus stop chicane, nice and easy, one last time on the power, and there we go, job done. I'll take P6, thank you very much.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
What a great race then, and what a magnificent victory here at the Belgian Grand Prix. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
Right guys, so here we are looking at the final race results. Lewis Hamilton picking up the win for Mercedes here today and scoring 25 points over his title rival Valtteri Bottas. That is a massive, massive result for him here today. Charles Leclerc second, 6 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton only, so the Mercedes wasn't that far away. And Ricciardo third for Renault. What a race from them, third and fourth. I don't know where that's come from, but the biggest surprise of the season so far, I think, or at least right up there. You know, really, really shocking pace. Both cars in the top 4. That's going to be some big constructors' points for them. Sebastian Vettel P5. We finish up in 6th place, which is a really good result for us. I did not expect that at the start of the race. Lance Stroll and Perez both behind us, so we beat both racing points. Alex Albon and Lando Norris round off the point scorers. Verstappen, only P11, misses out on the points in a Red Bull, which is really, really surprising. Pierre Gasly 12th, Schumacher 13th, Kvyat, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Sainz, Russell, Magnussen, Grosjean, Latifi and Bottas all miss out on the points. We then move into the standings and we're still in 3rd place, but Sebastian Vettel only 3 points behind us. Also, Lewis Hamilton 31 points clear at the top of the table as he looks to reclaim his championship crown. Meanwhile, further down, Ricciardo and Ocon take a big jump forward and they both move up into the top 11, and Schumacher drops down to P14 as a consequence of that. And we then move into the constructors and we are still in 3rd place. We've got a nice cushion, about 60 to 59 points over Racing Point. Renault, even with that big result, don't change position, but they close right up to AlphaTauri, and they're getting that mix now, you know, between Racing Point, Red Bull, AlphaTauri, Renault. There's a big fight going on there in the Constructors' Championship, and I've got to say, as every race passes by, I'm feeling more and more confident we could potentially hold on to 3rd in the Constructors this season. But guys, that's it for the race here at Belgium. We're now going to move into the main menu.
You were cutting your way through the field during the race.
I mean, you could say that. I think it wasn't as easy as it looked, maybe. We had to work really hard for it. But the car felt great, and I really, really enjoyed it.
You're beating all expectations. Would you say we all underestimated you?
To be fair, I think I underestimated ourselves. I think this weekend the race was really, really good. We outperformed expectations. So, yeah, but it's all about the team, and when we work together, we get good results.
You scraped the walls a few times. Were you struggling for grip?
Not really. I was pretty fine, to be honest, so not really.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Okay, so looking at the rivalry breakdown, unfortunately, Charles Leclerc does score a flawless 5 points, and even though he had a big advantage after the last episode, he's now brought it back to 9 apiece, which is really, really interesting. In terms of acclaim, both myself and Mick gain a little amount, and as a team that adds up to, again, a small little improvement as we're gradually edging our way towards level 18, so small progress being made. In terms of bonuses, we didn't actually hit the Atlantic bonus goal. I think Mick must have had an issue in practice because I did all my usual laps that I usually do when we hit the target, so Maybe Mick had limited running. Maybe the wet qualifier may have had something to do with it. Either way, we've now got over $10 million, so we're looking very good in that sense. Okay, so it's time for a sponsorship renewal, and I am considering maybe doing something better than Atlantic. So we're going to look at our options and see what we have available to us. Okay, so you guys have seen this one before, and I quite like it. So Pay Night, I think that's how you pronounce it. Achieve a top 12 finish during the race. Very achievable. And we get a 320,000 goal bonus and 253 on the weekly income. So we are absolutely taking that. Very easy and achievable one, even easier than the Atlantic one. So we'll sign them on. And there we go. We've got a brand new sponsor in the team. But we're not done there. Let's quickly go back over to the main page. So we've got 3 days, or 2 days really, until the Italian Grand Prix. First of all, let's assign activities. We've only got 2 days, so we may as well just throw some weight training on there for Mick Schumacher. None of the other two really appeal to me. Messages, we have heard of rumours, so let's see. As you may have heard, Kimi Raikkonen held a press conference with their agent this morning announcing the decision to retire from Formula 1. Opening up that seat could trigger all sorts of driver moves, so we should watch that situation very closely. Okay, so there we go then. Finally, we've got some movement, of course. There weren't no transfers over the end of Season 1 to Season 2 in my one, so this is going to be interesting, actually. This could really spice things up heading into Season 3. But that aside, let's skip to some activities. Now, R&D, we're currently in 4th place. Our upgrade has arrived for the aerodynamics. We purchased a major aerodynamic upgrade, as you'll see here. And I believe it was this one over here, which was the rear wing end plates. And the downforce arrived. So we're now the 4th quickest team, but we're not done there. Can we afford the next one? Not quite. We're just shy. We're like literally 40 points off. So I might just wait to see if I can afford that, to be honest. Looking elsewhere, we could do an engine upgrade maybe heading into Monza if it arrives in time, but it's only 3 days, so I don't think it will. So to be honest, looking at the options around us, I think I'm going to wait, save some points, and see if we can buy that aerodynamic upgrade. So we'll sim ahead to the Italian Grand Prix, and unfortunately, no upgrades. And there we go then, job done, and we're ready to go for yet another race weekend, and hopefully guys are looking forward to it. Either way, that is going to be it from me here today, guys, for this one, for the Belgian Grand Prix. If you guys enjoyed it, drop me a like, it means a lot to me, and also subscribe if you are new, guys, to really help out the channel. I'm trying to chase 50,000 subs, so any help would be massively appreciated, and also if you hit the bell icon, guys, to be notified, that would also be really, really awesome. But guys, check out the 2 videos on screen right now, and I'll see you all next time for the next race at the Temple of Speed for the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. But until then, guys, take care, and it's goodbye from me.